I have a deck of cards here, and we're going to take one randomly from the middle. I want you to remember that one there. I'm going to place it back into the center of the deck. As you can see, it goes in. I'm going to cut the deck, and I'm going to give it a shuffle. Now, these cards are thoroughly mixed up. I'm sure you can all be aware. I want you to notice that the top card is, in fact, not yours, the 4 of spades, right? And it's not that one there, the 2 of spades, but I want you to watch that 4. So if I take my hand, you'll actually see that card can change, right? So it now changes into the card that you were thinking of. But I want you to watch again. I'm going to take the card, place it back into the center of the deck, and I want you to imagine again that your card is right here. Just focus on it. Just like that. Hi, I'm Matt Brandwood. I've been doing magic professionally for about 6 years. I recently just come off a show in the Fringe called Stranger, and yeah, that's pretty much my life. Show the camera, I won't look, and what we're going to do, we're going to place that back in the center. Now, I want you to think about your card very carefully. I'm going to take the top card, which I know isn't yours.
No.
Right? It's not that one there?
No.
Watch my hand, just like that. Think about your card, because if you actually see, that card will in fact change into your card. Was that it there? Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So I started magic when I was about 12, and what happened was late at night I was watching a television show called Penn and Teller Fool Us. And there was this one magician called Michael Vincent who was on TV. And what happened was I remember watching him perform a whole bunch of card tricks and sitting there going, this is so amazing, I need to do this. And then I remember I actually sent him an email the next day and I was like, hey, where would you suggest I start? And he actually replied and he's like, do this and buy this book. And so I did, and kind of just never looked back from there. As I've done more and more magic, it's strange because unlike a lot of hobbies, it's so open. It's an art. So, I mean, my love of card magic isn't as big as it used to be. But in saying that, I still love doing it. And, you know, as I've done more and more shows, I've become more interested in kind of mental magic, or mentalism as we call it. And so that's the thing I think that I love the most about it, because it's not like I'm stuck doing one thing with my career. There's so much different kinds of magic that my passion for magic hasn't died and only gotten stronger, but my passion for certain elements of it change, and that could be a week-to-week basis kind of thing. Yeah, so I've never lost passion for magic, but yeah, it changes. So I was a part of the 2017 Adelaide Fringe with a show called Stranger, which was my first ever solo show, anywhere in general, but in particular for the Adelaide Fringe. Now, I was involved in the Fringe in 2017 with a show called Deception: The Final Deceit, which the Deception as a Deception trilogy was wildly successful, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. Putting on my own solo show was a completely different kettle of fish, and I, in a lot of ways, was unprepared. Not in terms of actually doing the magic, but just simply for putting it all together and advertising and stuff. And there were some technical issues that came up as a result. Certain things didn't work, and half of the show actually got rewritten a few days before opening night. But overall, the show went really, really successfully, and kind of reignited my passion for doing shows. And so I started writing next year's show already, which is already looking 100 times bigger than I ever could have imagined a show could be. And yeah, just Adelaide Fringe is just an incredible opportunity for artists, not even young artists like myself, but any kind of artist to get out there and perform. And it's something that I'm really happy with the results of this year at least. So when I first started magic, I started it as a hobby. So I remember it just became something. It was what I would do in my spare time, and I never really thought that it would ever become a career, because, you know, performing arts in general is really difficult to get into, and something as niche as magic is kind of like, well, I'm never going to be able to make anything of this. But I remember doing my first ever corporate performance, which was I think I did for free. It was at Burnside Village. It was for like 80 people, and it was just this really amazing like feeling as a 14-year-old to be performing for the corporate world. And the feedback from that was so good, and it got back to the people who hired me, that they were like, we should invest time into this kid. And so they taught me all about that, and I've worked as a corporate magician ever since. If you told me at 14 that I would spend the rest of my life, hopefully, spend the rest of my life performing corporate magic for people, I would have laughed and said, you're lying. Because no one expects to be able to do something like that. And, you know, it's been tough sometimes to think that, how am I actually going to make a living off this? How am I going to be able to, you know, hopefully one day support a family and whatever. But as it goes on, the more I kind of learn, not only about myself, but about the corporate world and how to make it as a performer, I've become more and more confident that I'll be able to. And it's a strange feeling as someone who's not even 19 yet, to be able to say I have a career path and I'm doing something that I truly love doing. But it's a great kind of weird.